Hello, everybody.
Welcome to episode 3 of the Pretentious Nobodies podcast.
I'm Alex,
I'm Christian.
and we have two guests here today. First, we have Eric, who's in studio with us.
Yes.
"Quote unquote" studio.
Say hello, Eric.
Hello, I'm Eric.
Yeah.
And I guess we should have Eric talk about some stuff. But our main guest here, is Chris Tom, the legend himself.
Oh, the inimitable god.
Don't say that.
ChristopherTom.bandcamp.com.
The first, Eric, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into Chris.
Yeah.
Who's more important?
I'm just senior at SADM that does nothing but homework and the grind.
Okay, that's great. You have any plugs, dude?
No.
What about Starbucks?
Oh yes, always go to Starbucks.
Buy Starbucks.
They've got great coffee, guys.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. It's like mint here.
Okay, that was all. Now, Chris, so tell us about yourself. People already, if they're listening to this, probably already know about you, but if there's anything you want to say that people don't know, plug that stuff in, dude.
Inform the uninformed.
All right. Yo, what's cracking, guys? It's me, Christopher Tom. I'm basically a solo musician. I got a lot of music out, some good shit. You should check it out, ChristopherTom.bandcamp.com. And around April of last year, I was kind of ass fucked by cancer, and so a lot of the stuff that has been happening since April is basically dealing with the aftermath of that, which isn't always pretty, but we're getting there. We're making some good ass music, and yeah.
That's great.
That's
Yeah,
solid,
and
yeah.
if you guys want to check out Chris's music, go on Bandcamp. You can even go on Spotify.
Yeah.
He's got a bunch of EPs out. Really good stuff.
got
Also,
it.
Chris,
Hell
try
yeah.
not to swear too much because Miss Lori might listen to this.
Yes.
Okay.
Think about this podcast.
Well-
If you want to say something, just think: would Miss Lori be okay or uncomfortable with the fact that I just said that?
Well, I mean, I would have appreciated the notice beforehand.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
forgot to
that's
tell
fair.
you. That's
Well,
fine.
we'll cut this part out, maybe.
Yeah.
Nah.
Content warning.
Leave it in.
Explicit content warning. Okay.
Yes.
So you're a YouTuber, right? You have a YouTube channel. Tell us what's more about that.
Yes.
It started when I was like checking out commentary YouTubers, like when Leafy was popular, and I thought, hey, what he does is pretty fucking easy. Oops, I said it again.
That's all good.
It's all good, bro. Just...
All right, so what he did is pretty easy, and I think that I'm pretty funny guy. I could use it as a way to flesh out my stage presence, and also those views. It's as a matter of fact, I'd actually say that having a YouTube channel was quite beneficial for the music promotion. But basically, it's a way of me trying to like flesh out my comedy, my writing style, and I haven't made any recently, but I think that's just because the whole YouTube scene, it's not really as lively as it was last year. So if I was to continue veins about like those topics and those genres, it would just be like the same thing you hear, like Logan Paul find dead body. Oh no.
Yeah.
What,
Yeah,
you've seen Big Body
so
before?
The Suicide Forest Xbox game run.
Yep.
this video will make you hate Logan Paul.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly. So you obviously,
Yeah.
we said, are like a YouTuber and everything. What is your take on the adpocalypse? And if people don't know what it is, could you fill them in?
Apparently the real reason. Oh yeah, it was the Wall Street Journal thing. So
Oh, yeah,
PewDiePie
yeah.
made some Nazi jokes, and the Wall Street Journal reported on it, and a bunch of ad companies were like, "Okay, we don't want our ads on YouTube anymore." So as a result, a lot of the YouTubers who made a lot of revenue from this, they just found like their earnings like halved or worse because of that.
Would you cite that as a reason why people have been so discouraged recently, as maybe a cause for this sort of lackluster YouTube scene as it currently stands?
Well, yeah, because like I was on my way to getting my first pin, which is they send you at $10. I was making like $7 and change, so I'm making like big bank off that. And then I find out that I don't meet the requirements anymore. It brings a tear to my
sucks.
eye.
Yeah, that's a big sad.
So,
man.
and I think
Yeah.
also the Wall Street Journal took PewDiePie way out of context.
Yes, they do.
And I
Yeah.
remember PewDiePie even saying like, "Hey, they're gonna make this next video that I make. They're gonna take it out of context," and then that exactly happened.
Yes, they did.
Which is such
Yes.
a thought.
I cry every night I think about the lost YouTube pennies I could have made.
Dude. And then, and it just kills channels too, because if you're making a certain amount of revenue, and then now all these advertisers pull down for a largely arbitrary reason, your revenue can be cut like in half, or almost all of your videos can become demonetized, and you can't make any money off them ever.
Your livelihood could just
Yeah.
be swept out from under you.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, it's terrible. So I guess you've even noticed it yourself. You're saying, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's so
I
stupid.
am.
And stuff on TV is way worse than what you see on YouTube too.
Far margin.
Yet advertisers are just crawling to put their ads on there. Big names too. Big names.
Yeah. The late night shows as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, my favorite YouTube channel is definitely Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Fallon in that order.
100%.
Ooh, I love Stephen Colbert. I love him.
Kimmel,
Give me some-
yeah.
Kimmel can butter me up any day.
Like he started off with a pretty small audience on YouTube, but he really blew up quickly. It's like he almost had like an external audience or something.
Yeah, it's terrifying. I had no idea what caused that, but it's interesting, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just YouTube seems to be making a lot of bad decisions.
They do that occasionally.
Yeah, we're not even like YouTubers, I guess.
Yeah, still.
We just put this podcast on there, and they and now they're saying like channels under 1,000 subs can't have ads, right?
Well, that's like one of the minimum requirements, but you also need to have 4,000 watch hours.
Oh man.
How do you feel about that? Because I know a lot of
Um,
people have been seeing it as a positive thing.
It is. I definitely don't think it's a positive thing, but then again, that might be because overall in my channel's lifespan, I've only had like maybe 10,000 watch hours. You feel me?
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, it kind of sucks. Big peepee.
And then it does suck big PP. You said 4,000 hours of watch time
Huge people.
a year?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you would make it through. Well, how long has your channel existed?
A year now. Just about. Has it been a year?
Since 2013, but I don't know when I started uploading. So
I see.
that's like the combination of a bunch of years.
Uh-huh.
Where I had like 1,000 watch hours. I think that's what I said, right? 1,000. So I fall short by about. I'm like only 25% of what they need.
But for your subscriber count, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also you made these things called YouTube poops, I remember, which were hilarious.
Hell yeah.
Christopher's Things. Ooh.
Christopher's Things, yeah.
1,000 subs.
That reminds me when we knew one friend, or we knew somebody who went to another school. His dad
Yeah.
would post these videos of him as like a child, and they had like 300,000 views.
Oh,
You know what I'm talking
yeah.
about?
Really?
Yeah, Griffin
say
at
his name.
Garbage
Yeah.
Truck.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay, just bleep that out in
Yeah.
the final.
Um,
I think it's a weird fetish, the garbage truck.
yeah, I don't know why that had so many views. That was just,
Things just happen coincidentally, dude.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like for the first several years of YouTube, wasn't the first most popular YouTube video the evolution of dance for like a really long time?
Yeah.
Mm.
That was just sort of a random meme thing that people just watched a ton.
Yeah, it was. Oh my gosh, the evolution of dance.
Wow, that's
I can't. Okay.
decades ago now. 17 decades, of course.
So now, I think we've covered YouTube pretty well. Let's talk about some weird school stories. I'm gonna start off with
Yeah.
some of the memes. I remember in English class, we had like this. I was sitting next to Chris, and we had like this graphic organizer,
Yeah.
and it said like pre-search tool.
What?
And I said something really stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Chris, and I covered my thumb over the P, and I was like, from research, or no, I just said from pre-search, and then I covered my thumb over the P, and I said to research. From pre-search to research.
It's still a classic to this day.
It was a stupid meme.
Oh my
It wasn't
gosh.
even a meme. But yeah, that was good.
I had not witnessed this. I was not familiar with
Do you have any
this.
memes?
It's an Alex Goodwin classic.
Christian?
Oh,
Good question.
here's a classic meme. You're cool, but you're not as cool as Blake.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm a big boy.
Yeah, if you want to roast somebody, you tell them they're cool, but you tell them they're not as cool as somebody else. So actually, you're roasting the person you're saying you're not as cool as.
Yes, you are.
Yeah,
To be fair,
yeah.
Young Blake, this man's convinced his teachers and his parents to allow him to, as a science project, build a computer that could run Crysis 3, I believe, at 60 frames per second.
Yeah, that was his science project.
That was his science project for school.
He actually got away with it. I could not believe it.
Oh my goodness.
It was Look, I wish I thought of that. Hypothesis: I will be able to build a computer that runs Crysis 3 at 60 FPS. Results: I was able to build a computer that runs Crysis 3 at 60 FPS. Yeah.
It actually ran it at 700 FPS.
It did?
No.
Oh,
No.
I don't know.
I have no idea. I wasn't that good with Blake.
Yeah, that was a good meme. Yeah, like your cool meme is like, hey Christian, you're cool, but you're no Osama bin Laden.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like
I love it.
Like Alex, you're pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, but you're not as cool as like I don't know Benito Mussolini. That man was incredibly cool.
You're cool, but you're not Corey Feldman, Christian. You got some work to do.
Oh my goodness, you're cool, but you're no stupid head. Got him.
That was
That was
the
hilarious.
train ended because of you.
Hey, nice pwn. Nice pwn, Christian.
Dude, pwn.
Yes,
PWN.
absolute pwn. Absolute pwn corrupts absolutely.
Absolute pwnage, Christian.
Eriq,
Have you gotten any nice pwns recently?
Have you been pwned, Eriq?
I have not.
Sad.
But-
Okay, let me think of a nice pwn.
A really good school story is the Spips story that Chris Tom has.
Oh yeah.
Oh dear.
All right,
Spips.
guys. So for all of the listeners on this podcast, let me tell you about Spips. All right, so if you know like YouTube poop, right? There's a lot of like forward reversing. So when it's a thing that I did where like whenever a character says something starting with spit, I forward reverse it so it says Spips.
Uh-huh.
So that's the origin of Spips. So I was in 8th grade at the school. I was like new to the school, and I just started using Spips in like random contexts. So people be like, "What's Spips?" And I'll say like, "Oh, Spips is Spips" or some bullshit like that, and they'll be like, "Oh yeah, dude." So everyone started saying Spips, but there's this one kid who I won't say his name, but he really got irritated by the Spips. Like Spips fucking enraged him.
Uh-huh.
Enraged by Spips, indeed.
So one day in math class, I was just chatting about Spips, and he's like, "I'm gonna punch you in the stomach." So I think he's bluffing. So I'm like, "Okay, dude, punch me in the stomach." So right when the teacher is not looking, he runs over and just punches me in the stomach pretty hard.
Oh.
Okay, I'm not
Yeah.
maybe not pretty hard, but moderately hard. And I'm like, "Ow!" But to be fair, I kind of did tell him to punch me in the stomach.
This is true. Yes.
He was just in a furious just rampage. He had to punching people's stomachs or else.
The Spips rampage.
The Spips induced rampage.
As you see, Spips just reduces people to hysteria.
Yes, Spips. Don't say Spips around your children. Don't say Spips around like if you have any family members who you're sketchy around. Do not say it around them. If you ever see a man on the street and he's like raving wild and crazy, do not say Spips. Yes. He will attack you, and he will not stop until you are 150% dead.
Oh yeah. What?
I remember Andrew asked Mr. Fleming, "What does Spips mean?" And Mr. Fleming was like, "I don't know. I never heard that word in my life."
The quest for Spips.
Mr. Fleming, man. What's that, man?
So yeah, what are some other cool school stories that we have?
The fire drill. Bath.
Oh, the
my
fire
God.
drill. Okay, so we had a fire drill at our school. Actually, why am I telling the story? Chris, go.
Oh yeah. Okay, so we had a fire drill at the school, and at the school, I'm kind of known for taking long shits, and so it just so happens that one of the times I had to take a pretty big dump was also during the fire drill. So I was like on the crapper, and I hear there's a fire drill, and I'm thinking, well, what the fuck you want me to do, man? I'd have to wipe my ass somehow.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
I'm not going out there with no skid marks or some shit like that, man. Come on.
Yeah. That's respectable. You're a good man.
Okay, that reminds me of one time. There's this one kid at our school. I think we were taking AIMS or some standardized test. It was very important, or a final. When I was in middle school, and this kid, so he said he was gonna go to the bathroom, right? And so everyone was like, okay, fine. And
go to the bathroom.
it's like 10 minutes later, he's not back yet. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. At around 30 minutes, the whole class starts to get kind of confused and wondering.
Where could he have gone? What's he doing?
And the teacher is now like calling the office, and they're starting a search for him. And still, like 30 minutes later, we cannot find this kid.
It's been an hour now.
Hype man. And so they're looking all across the school. They can't find him. Eventually, I think another student finds him. Turns out, hold on. What? Turns out this kid fell asleep on the toilet. He fell asleep on the toilet. He went to use the restroom right in the stall, and he just fell asleep right there during a standardized test. Everyone was looking for him.
Oh my goodness.
And he was like, "What's going on, guys?" Well, what do you think?
I don't know. You tell us.
Yeah. So that was not
That's
a good
great.
meme. That was a good meme, but a sad meme for him.
Yeah.
There was it's not related to school. Well, I mean, it's not about school, but we all go to school on a military base, and there's this place on this military base called the BX. That stands for Base Exchange. That is essentially like a tiny mall, right? You got a little food court area for yourself. You got like a department store-esque area in the back. There's some other stores and like a hallway leading down. It's like real small, but it serves its purpose pretty effectively, right? And we tend to hang out there like after school. One thing is in the BX they have TVs mounted on pillars that stand up like in the center essentially of the food court, and you're like, they're there to watch, if you get bored or just sort of need something to do with your eyes while you eat. And the thing about these televisions is that they don't air programming. They only air advertisements interspersed with commercials.
Yeah, it's the Base Exchange channel itself.
Yes. The BX channel is just ads and also commercials. They'll play like an ad that is essentially like weird like movie clips and like a little hype up section for like a movie that's coming out or has come out recently, and then they'll have like little mini interviews, and then they'll cut to a commercial or two or three, and then they'll go back and do the same kind of ad but for a completely different movie.
Yeah. No, okay, so you watch the BX channel thinking that the show is going to come on.
But it never does.
It's like a GIF that you don't realize is repeating. Like
yes, because it just loops so perfectly. It's like, man, this is a really long loop of this. It's weird.
Yeah. You sit there for like 15 minutes, and they just keep cutting to ads, and by the time they start coming to the ads over and over again, you realize you're just in a time warp.
Yes,
There's
and
no
you've
hope.
wasted 7 hours staring at this TV that has fed you no useful information whatsoever, let alone anything entertaining.
Yeah, it's really sad. Eric has a story about this.
Okay, so it's not about the TVs, but there was this guy, right? So most of the exchange has an internet that you can use, right? It's really low tier and really shitty, right?
Uh-huh.
But this guy came in with his laptop.
Yes.
And he's sitting in the corner, facing like a wall, and his laptop screen is showing to everyone else in the food court.
Oh,
and you can just look over at this guy,
Oh,
and this guy is watching porn at the exchange.
Adult movies.
Pornography. Yes.
Yes, he's watching pornographics at the exchange while he's eating his food.
There were children here.
Wasn't there something like that in the youth center?
Wait.
No, it was in the exchange when the youth center was there.
Yeah.
That was wow. I just can't imagine that. That's just
This was
terrible.
back in 9th grade, so
Oh my
we were
goodness.
getting out at the end of the day with the rest of the kids on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of kids there.
Mm-hmm.
There
There were like people anywhere from like probably 13 to like 17, just seeing this dude out here with his with his very explicit materials sitting around in public watching them on this garbage internet.
It's good to know that he's not there anymore. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta have a basic sense of decency when it comes to things like this.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good meme. What are some other good school stories you can think of?
I do not know of any school stories, but I do
What
have
stories?
one personal story. This was probably a year or two ago. My father had left. He had gone to a church meeting. My father is a pastor, and so does things at church. Before he left, he said, "Oh, hey, just so you guys know, we're gonna get some pizza." So I ordered it. It should be on its way. And so he goes out, and then he comes back inside. I think he was going to get his keys or something. Like he might have left them out inside, just sort of blanked on. Regardless, he goes back in and then he leaves. 30 minutes pass, and my dad ordered this pizza like 20 minutes before he left. So it's weird that this pizza has now taken 50 minutes. It's very strange. But I'm just sort of staying away. I'm not going downstairs. You know, I'm staying upstairs. I'm in this call with my friends.
With me, actually.
With you and Eriq and a few of our other friends. And I'm just sort of talking about it to them, like, you know, it's real weird that this pizza hasn't shown up yet. I think I might call them. I think I might talk to them about this.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna wait a little while longer to make sure that it just doesn't come.
Oh man.
And then I waited another 30 minutes for this pizza to arrive.
Like an hour and a half at this point, right?
At this point, it was an hour and a half from the time that this pizza had been ordered. And I was infuriated by this point. Over the course of that last 30 minutes, I had just become progressively more and more angered about this pizza, and now I'm very upset with these pizza people. All right, I'm not gonna say what company it is, but let's let's call them Schlitza Hut.
Oh, Schlitza Hut.
For this case. Anyway, I was going to call Schlitza Hut customer service, and then I was really upset. So I decided, you know, I'm gonna get over myself for a little bit, and then I decide I'm gonna go get some water. I think was what it was. So I decided to go downstairs. I get some water, and then while I go into my kitchen to get water, I look at the stovetop, and on it sits a box of pizza. Turns out, when my dad was coming back inside right after he had left, he was putting the pizza, which had shown up as he left the house, inside of the house.
2 hours ago or something. And so, Samia had already gone into it. Just
yes, my younger sister Samia had already gotten her fill of this pizza. And by this point, she was very small at this point and doesn't eat that much in general. So it's not like she just ate the entire pizza, but there wasn't that much left. It was cold by this point.
Soggy, probably, right?
A little bit, yeah. And I was just depressed. This pizza had been all that I was looking forward to for this entire day. Earlier this day, I had been hit by a car, so I was very upset. Yes.
Wait, was that when you slammed your finger in that car door?
It was not. That was a joke.
Oh,
I didn't actually get hit by a car.
Christian slammed his finger in some car door.
Oh, yes. This also happened. To finish off the last story, I did eventually eat that pizza. We have a pizza stone, so I cooked it in our oven, and it was a little depressing, but, you know, it was all right. I got over myself.
Wow, you're such a hero.
Yes, I'm kind of a moral bastion. I'm not gonna lie. Regardless, there was another time I danced ballet for 4-ish years. I'm not sure if it's more or less 4 years, give or take 6 months. And
sure.
Yeah, I was on my way to a class. Right, my dad was taking me to a class, and I was a little upset. Couldn't remember. He was on his way to a church thing and didn't have enough time to take me all the way there. So he dropped me off a few blocks away, and I was a little upset about it. I wasn't going to let it show because I never let emotions show when they're that upsetting. But I did. I just got over myself, and I did accidentally slam the door a little bit. And when I did that, my thumb was caught in the door.
Oh.
And it just,
Oh.
it was not a good feeling.
No, he came to school. It was like black and purple and swollen. I mean, his skin's already dark. But, like, it was like swollen and.
It was nice and grotesque. Mind you, it hadn't been like smashed apart or open or anything. I was still able to go to class and participate for like 10, 15 minutes before I realized this is really bad.
It was terrible.
This feels terrible. And by that point, I had gotten, I believe, my mom to pick me up. And so, after that, we went to urgent care. And while the bone hadn't been broken, the nail had been cut apart beneath the skin. This is really disturbing. So sorry to anyone who participates with squeams very often.
I have a story.
Yeah, remember it's like that SpongeBob episode where Squidward and his toenail get cut.
Oh.
Yeah, not quite as pretty though.
Yo, I have a story actually very similar to this.
We're just cutting each other off with stories now.
Yeah. I'm ending your story. So.
Okay. Well.
Oh wait, are you done? Wait.
Not quite.
Okay, finish your story. Sorry.
I did come to school with it. They decided to gauze it up and brace it. I did occasionally take it off to rest, and this thing just looked. It was not a very pretty thing. To skip forward like 30, 45 seconds, you have screams. It was like there was blood like coming up from under the skin, and it had bubbled there. And a bit of it had congealed. But none of it.
Oh.
Yeah, it was not. It was only. It was probably about as awful as it felt. It looked pretty terrible. Not gonna lie.
I have a similar story. So I was in Kung Fu for many years.
17.
Not 17.
He's been doing Kung Fu basically since he was an infant.
And so there's a thing in Kung Fu called the horse, or just in martial arts called a horse stance, where you kind of squat down a little bit. And it's almost like you're straddling a horse. You're riding a horse. That's what a horse stance looks like. And you have like your fist next to you. You look like you're a Saiyan powering up. Yeah. Yeah, that actually is a horse stance. Christian's standing up and doing it right now. Yeah. And so we had this one like exercise where we'd do the horse stance, right? And we'd like do some kicks and punches or whatever, and then we'd run and jump into a horse stance again. And so that's normal on its own, right? Everyone's doing fine. And I get through the first jump, so it's all good. And I've done this a lot of times before, so I wouldn't expect any problems to occur. But I do one jump, and I jump into the air, but I don't jump quite right. And as I'm coming down, when you come down, usually your feet land, on the ground, and your toes land with them. That's the normal course of things.
Usually.
But my big toe didn't do that. It actually got curled underneath.
Oof.
And landed onto the ground, curled under. So all my weight was going, and my nail was like a little bit too long on my toenail. So all of the weight of my body dug into this nail, into my toenail. And same with Christian. I was like, that felt weird. And then I just kept going. And then blood just started seeping all out of my foot.
Oh, God.
And I just started freaking out.
Oh, my goodness.
And the whole class got stopped. This Zumba instructor from the room next door had to come over because she was like a doctor, and she like examined my toe, and she's like, "Yeah, this is bad."
I didn't break it, but this is problematic.
You didn't break it, but you shouldn't have done this. Next time, don't do this. And,
next time this happens.
And so I was limping for like a good month and a half. It was
goodness gracious.
There was like blood everywhere. Because the nail had dug into like way deep into my toe. So cut your nails, kids.
Yes.
If you're squeamish now, you can come back.
Actually, no. I have another story.
Okay,
boy. Sorry, squeamers. It's gonna be a long one for you.
Okay, so in Wyoming, my grandpa purchased this land, right?
Fun fact: Eriq is God King of Wyoming.
Yeah.
So he's got this land, right? Decides to build his own house, not hiring any contractors or anything like that. He's gonna do that with him and his family, right? So we get this main supports up. We put the concrete in the ground, and it's time to take down the supports. So we take down the supports. So I was a bit younger at the time, so my job was to go around and knock the nails out of the supports, so no one would step on the nails.
Okay,
right?
That's reasonable.
Yes.
So I'm walking around, knocking the nails out of some of the supports, leaving some, going back, right?
Yes.
I eventually get sidetracked and start running around. And then I come back.
No.
and I immediately
Ooh.
run onto a nail
Oh
that pierces all the way to my bone.
boy.
Oh.
That's funny.
God.
So,
Oh my god.
not only am I screaming in pain, but as if I'm trying to walk away from the board and get it off my foot, it's stuck to my foot because the nail is in the bone.
Oh,
Ow.
Oh my god.
gosh. Let's call this one the pain episode, guys.
Yeah, the pain episode.
Yes.
So my uncle comes over, he puts his foot on the board and rips my foot off of it.
Oh my gosh.
This is the worst one.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
So they carry me over to the car and we sit down and they look at my foot and they're like, this is really bad. We probably need to go to the hospital. But then my uncle, well, the nail wasn't big enough, so they're not going to be able to put stitches in it. So we could just wrap it up here and then go later.
Oh my god.
That's a
So-
good
God.
They wrap up my
That's
foot
always a good idea.
as it's gushing blood everywhere when they took off my sock.
Oh,
So they wrap it up, hand me a Mountain Dew, and tell me it'll be okay.
That's the Wyoming way right there. Just give
Yes,
them a
it
Mountain
is.
Dew and a bag of Doritos and the Call of Duty season pass. And
yes.
Uh,
That is how you nurse your children back to health.
I was limping around
Return
for
to MLG.
about 3 months after that.
oh
So
my gosh, that's terrible. Dude. How
yeah,
old
I was like 10 or 11 maybe.
are you? Okay.
To this day, I can't bend my toes all the way on my foot
Oh my gosh,
like normally.
Holy shit.
But
that's insane.
Goodness gracious.
That's crazy.
So- it probably nicked a tendon, but
Who needs tendons?
Don't worry about it.
yeah.
And Eric, as the God King of Wyoming, is indeed he is the swag totem of Wyoming.
Chris, do you have any terrible pain stories?
Yes.
Are y'all familiar with the process of straight calving?
Of what?
Straight calving, like where they use a catheter to get all the urine out of your
I've
dick.
heard of it. Yes.
I am aware of its existence. Yes.
Oh man.
Yeah, after the surgery, I had to get just a normal catheter. It didn't hurt, but so one time, I think they eventually took it off. But one time, I couldn't pee, and I remember it really freaked me out. Like when you get the feeling that you gotta pee, but you actually can't. So
Most of the time you
They
can't pee, so all of a sudden not being able to
they
pee.
straight calf. Yeah, basically. So the straight calf is like, it's something they put like something in your dick hole to drain the pee out.
Understandable.
And so it wasn't always painful, but there was one time where it was like one of the worst pains I've ever felt. It's like they put it like in your dick hole. It's like fucking awful. Like, yeah.
Oh my god. That took a dark turn. Oh my gosh.
That's kind of the worst story.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
got worse and worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It never got better. It just got worse and worse.
It's like a
Yeah.
normal
was like-
joke.
Like if at the time I described it as, it's like I've never had piranhas on my dick, but I think that's how it would feel.
Deep sea creatures. Yeah, all of our stories got worse and just more and more terrible and disgusting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
One more thing we wanted to talk about. We kind of talked about it a little bit on one episode. Oh, sorry, Chris. What were you saying?
Conspiracy theories.
Conspiracy
For
theories.
instance, I have somebody who I think is part of my extended family who continually sends me cancer conspiracy theories. I'm gonna open up Messenger and I'll read some of the titles to you.
This is great. Yeah, he showed this to me.
I think I've heard a few. of
Like
these
they
too.
think like cancer is a conspiracy or chemotherapy is a conspiracy.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
That treats literally the worst thing that you can have as a human being. Yeah.
Yes. Alkaline water kills cancer, says Nobel Prize winner.
Oh man.
Ooh, alkaline water.
So that's kind of like those videos, or not those videos, those like those clickbait ads at the bottom of like articles and stuff like that.
Yeah. Here's another that says cancer is not a disease, especially since the cure for the condition was found long ago.
Really? I
Cancer's
wonder
not a
why
disease.
people don't use it. That's weird. Huh.
This one has a clickbait title that I really like. Like, it's really good. loading up. But okay, get ready for this.
Yeah.
All right. We're readying ourselves.
She turned 2 simple ingredients into a cure for cancer.
Oh man.
Oh, I can only imagine what those are.
Yeah.
Was it the alkaline water and what else?
And
Probably
carrots?
the cure for cancer.
How one woman beat Big Pharma on her.
One woman beat Big Pharma. Okay.
Man, on her own, this woman has just defeated the entire pharmaceuticals industry completely solo. That is props to her.
Okay, did you guys know that if you want to cure somebody's cancer, you just put in a giant box of rice, let it soak overnight, and it just leaks all the cancer out.
You're a terrible person and you should feel bad.
No, I'm making fun of the clickbait titles. Like they're just so ridiculous.
they're incredibly stupid. Yes.
Yeah.
How one man removed his own tumor.
The cancer industry is a big lie. The pharmaceutical industry makes a small fortune from their horrible treatments such as chemotherapy, for which studies have shown that it's responsible for a huge number of deaths of cancer patients.
You know what else is responsible for an even larger number of deaths of cancer patients? Cancer.
Cancer.
Wow. I mean, I understand like what Chris was telling me like earlier. Like they're trying to help, right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I appreciate it, but still, it's a good name.
And the first one she sent me was how to use the leaves of soursop to kill cancer cells 1,000 times stronger than chemotherapy.
Oh yeah.
I wonder why they don't use that instead of chemotherapy so that they can cure people. It's because they want to hide the secret because that's financially feasible and also a responsible thing to do to human beings who have cancer.
That's one thing we learned in econ is like there's the idea that these big companies have cures for cancer or they have cures for AIDS that they're not disclosing because they want to make more money. But really, if they did, they'd make way more money if they just published the cure.
Yeah, because then people would buy it because it'd be amazing and incredibly revolutionary.
Like, you'd still make more money publishing it than holding it out.
Yeah.
Diminishing marginal returns.
Like, no matter who you sold it to or how much they bought it for, it could never make as much money as it's going to if you release it. That's just not possible.
That's a dumb conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
Also, flat earthers. This is overdone at this point.
Yeah.
You know who my favorite flat earther is?
B.O.B.
B.O.B. You have something to say, Eriq?
So, one of his coworkers that I work with,
Oh, man.
he works at Subway. He genuinely believes in flat Earth theory.
Oh, no.
Oh.
I had a 3-hour discussion at work with this man.
Why?
About how satellites aren't real,
Oh boy.
the stars aren't real, and gravity doesn't exist.
Oh, man.
Oh man.
How can mirrors be real if our eyes are?
Absolutely. Am I right, guys? Big Jaden.
He's a follower of the cult of Jaden.
Ah man, the only way Jaden Smith could be dumber sometimes is if he were a flat earther. I appreciate him though. He makes interesting music, I'll say.
Oh wait, you appreciate him? What?
What?
I don't know about that.
I don't think it's good music, but I think it's an interesting case study into Jaden Smith as a person.
He can appreciate the artist behind the mask.
Yeah.
See, I almost just autopilot agreed with you. I almost pulled the Christian right there. I almost pulled a wide range.
Oh, we should tell the wide range story.
The wide range story.
This wide range story. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so Christian has this tendency to agree with anything people say, and I think it's maybe one, he doesn't want to confront people, and two, is a conversational tool.
It just keeps things going.
It keeps the conversation going, and you don't want to have to slow things down. And
I do it less recently, yeah.
But Christian, he hasn't done as much. I mean, it's starting to resurge, and we're talking about it. But before, it was just egregious. It was terrible. He would agree on everything, and so we thought, okay. Now this was actually an old joke with my friends at my old school, but I called it I didn't call it, but we called it the wide range test. Basically, you say if you've seen the movie called Wide Range. Wide Range is like some made up. It's not a real movie, but it's supposed to like a Texas movie, like a cowboy movie.
It's a spaghetti western.
So you say like, okay, have you seen a Wide Range, dude? It's really good. And if the person's like Christian, they'll say, "Yeah, dude, I liked it." And so we used it on Christian, and he completely fell for it.
Yeah.
We caught him in the lie, red-handed. A giant spotlight in the middle of the cafeteria just shone on him. He was exposed. So this is a great tool if you want to, because it's very kind of inviting, and it's kind of innocuous. It doesn't seem like it.
Because it seems like
bad.
you're trying to start a conversation about a thing that you guys could like mutually agree with,
And it actually sounds like an actual Western movie, like Wide Range.
The Wide Range.
And then of course there's Wide Range 2, the widening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alternately known as Wide Range 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. What? I didn't know it was that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you not know that? That's an old title.
Yeah, sure.
It's in the production now.
That's just one famous tip we had.
Yes.
Yeah, I used to do that with people, but with musicians. So I tried to ask my friend, "Hey, do you know Joey Domino?" And he's like, "No." And like I asked Christian if he knew Tommy and the Blue Moaners. I heard they I heard they moan pretty well live, but Christian did not fall for it.
That's unfortunate. It has to be like
something believable.
Believable.
I'm proud of my
You
music
can't even
taste,
add a meme.
so I wasn't even gonna meme on that one.
You can't even add a meme to it. It has to be like you can't even take any chances on this one. You're going all in. This is commando mode. You are a Navy SEAL of memes.
Have you guys heard of the Janelles?
The Janelles, that's pretty good.
The Janelles, that's pretty good.
Yeah, the Janelles. I heard their most recent EP. It's called Wide Range EP. It's pretty solid.
Or if you just say Janelle. Dude, have you been listening to Janelle recently?
Man, Hall Reverb, her most recent record, it's so solid. There's so much cohesion.
Hall
Reverb.
Oh.
See, it's deepening.
Yeah, the range is also widening and deepening simultaneously.
Ooh.
It's just this giant crater in the ground.
Wide Range 3 is called the Deepening, as a matter of fact.
The widening, the deepening. Yeah, that's pretty good. Halsey makes bad music.
Halsey.
This is correct.
Yes, I agree.
Okay, here's a Halsey song. Here's a chord progression for a Halsey song. Bum 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 bum. There you go. Repeat that.
Yeah.
3.5 minutes. You've made yourself $10 million.
This is true.
I don't get the appeal.
There is no appeal.
Like I kind of do, but
that she's so completely innocuous and soul and lacking in a soul that realistically, there's no way that you could possibly just dislike her unless you like substance and form.
Chris made a point. Like it's not bad, but it's not good. It's just it's just
mediocre.
It's mediocre, exactly.
Yes, precisely.
It's just out there, and there's really no. Wow, we just started roasting. We always do this. We just find some artist to roast.
Every episode of this podcast thus far has included at least an accidental roast on somebody.
Yeah.
Let's contrast this. Are you guys aware of Night Tempo? Like unironically?
I've heard the term.
Yeah, I know Night Tempo.
Night Tempo is a producer of this genre referred to as a sailor wave, which I feel should be named Night Tempo because not only does Night Tempo create the quintessential sailor wave, but the phrase Night Tempo just works so well for like if that were to be a genre.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I also just love Night Tempo. You should listen to his most recent single, Any Love.
Okay, you're not
nice.
Eriq,
yeah, I'm not sponsored by Night Tempo. I wish I was. That'd be interesting.
Okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit into a little more what I do, right?
Okay.
Because
I
haven't really talked that much, right? Mm-hmm. So when I'm not at school doing the grind, I'm at home looking up weird, obscure games on Steam or other marketplaces, right?
Yeah.
The most recent game that I had found is there's a genie in my Szechuan sauce.
Okay.
All right.
This game is a live action like choose your own adventure where these guys shot their own game in their living room.
Okay.
That is quite.
They're
nice.
having a genie in their Szechuan sauce.
That's pretty good. So is it like an R.L. Stein book, like those adventure ones where you say like go to page 5 if you want to meet the creepy old McCreary house, or?
Yeah, I mean I haven't really bought it because Yeah, I'm not gonna buy this.
Yeah, it's
But
Let me read the description for you. Jeff will soon find out that his biggest dream, tasting the holy Szechuan sauce, will become a reality when his best friend Paul calls him. By some miracle, he was able to get the sauce. However, there is a catch. See, I didn't open the link in there, but I cannot read the rest of it, but I'll get it to you in a second.
okay.
there you go.
Alright. You want to zoom in on there, friend?
Okay.
However, there is a catch. The sauce cup isn't really a Szechuan sauce. It's the house of a genie with fidget spinner glasses. What will happen? Who knows? It's all up to you in this interactive sketch. The gameplay of this game is really simple. You choose the life of the main character and change the story with your choices.
That's great. So
That's
hold on.
lovely. That's delightful. Listen to that elegant soiree happening right there.
So there's 88 reviews of this game, and they are all very positive.
That's great.
I'm glad that people support independent artistry like that.
Okay, so we're at 45 minutes. Maybe we should start wrapping up a little bit. Chris, this was a lot of fun. We'll have you on again soon, I think.
Yeah, we'd love to.
This was very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Eriq, too.
As long as you're up. Neither of you guys have to come on again. We're not going to like hold you at knife point and bring you back here. But like we'd love to have you.
Yeah.
Can you please edit out the part where I mistakenly cite PewDiePie saying the N-word as please edit that out. Thank you.
Well, go ahead, bud.
Well,
all right.
This was a lot of fun. I'll see you around, Chris. See everyone around. Come listen to our next episode. Check out Chris on YouTube, Bandcamp, and SoundCloud. Not SoundCloud, Spotify.
He is Christopher on all of those services.
And check out Eriq in real life.
Yes.
Check him out at Starbucks.
All of the Starbucks.
Yeah, Starbucks.
Every single Starbucks.
Schrodinger's Starbucks.
Yes. If you go to a Starbucks, Eriq's there.
Thank you for listening, and we'll see you in like 2 weeks.
Have a blessed day.
Nice.